Hey everybody, I'm Jared,
I'm Jason.
I'm John.
and we are JCubed. We are three best friends that just come together weekly, bi-weekly, tri-weekly, talk about movies, comics, video games, life, and we just try and bring that to you all for a little bit of enjoyment. And I'm really excited about this one because today we are going to be diving in to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So I'm putting it out there right now, early. If you have not watched this yet, spoilers ahead.
Yes.
Pause this
Spoilers, spoilers,
video.
spoilers.
Spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, pause this video, drive straight to the movie theater and watch it. If they're sold out, just go find a seat and then
No,
come back,
don't steal
push
someone's
play,
seat.
and then jump back into this. Yeah, don't steal somebody's
Yeah,
seat.
no,
I did not. I don't condone those kinds of actions.
that's not cool. That's never happened to me, but I'd be very pissed if something like that did happen because I go to the draft house and those tickets can get expensive after a while and like, yo, you're in my spot. That's give me $25 and I'll give it to you, but yeah.
Right. And your milkshake. Fork it up, bud.
Your salted caramel milkshake. I wish I had the
Do
national.
they
Ice
still
Chicken
do
stuff.
that 512 pecan porter milkshake?
They took a
I
lot
haven't
of
been
them
to the
away
draft
when
house
COVID
in
hit.
forever, but I remember
Yeah.
that one was legit.
Since COVID, they did take a lot of their menu, but I don't know. I feel like that is still on there. It's only been a couple weeks since I was at the movies to see the
Oh,
movie,
solid.
but
We should go again to make sure that it's on there or not.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess so. Field
Top
trip.
Top Gun comes out next week. I really
Top
want to
Gun
see
is
that with my
coming out
dad,
soon.
so I'll report back next time we do one of these. Maybe.
Nice.
All right, but before we actually get into the movie, it's been a couple weeks since we have been together. Uh, since then, John's birthday has come and gone. Happy belated birthday
Happy
to John.
belated
I know I told you
John.
the day of, but I think the whole J Cubed universe can wish you a happy birthday now.
Thank you. Thank you.
But before we get into Doctor Strange, what are you all currently into right now? Jason, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Well, so this has been a pretty constant thing since we've started these video podcasts, but I am still going strong with Elden Ring. I'm 100
Good
plus
for you.
hours into it at this point. I am ever inching closer to the end of the game. I've stopped playing quite as much as I used to. I think I used to go, after work, after my partner would go to sleep, I would, all right, let's do a couple hours of Elden Ring. 4 hours to go by. I was like, oh crap, I got to go to sleep. And it's not like that anymore. I think I play, a couple times a week at this point. I think because I'm getting towards the end of the game, I don't want to stop playing the game. But I also am torn if I want to, when I beat the game, if I want to go through for anyone who is a Soulsborne or has played a Soulsborne game in the past, once you beat the game, you can replay that game in New Game Plus. So I'm debating about doing New Game Plus and doing a different build, but I also don't want to beat the game because when I beat the game, I'm not going to have any more Elden Ring to play. Like this, I have never played a game that I've put so much time into. So I'm like, I want to beat it, but it's almost the end. I don't want to not have Elden Ring to play anymore. And so I'm kind of torn with what to do internally with that. Otherwise, I've started playing Cyberpunk 2077. I'm actually really, really enjoying that game. Whoops, hit the mic there. And I actually texted y'all this last night, but I ended up binge watching the latest season of Love, Death, and Robots. So if y'all have never seen, or John, I don't know if you've seen that. Jared, I don't know if you've seen that either.
No.
Not yet.
Have you seen it? Have either of y'all seen any of the show?
No.
Oh, okay. Y'all have some homework to do. That is so. Love, Death, and Robots. It's produced by David Fincher and Tim Miller. So David Fincher has done some of my favorite movies: The Zodiac, The Fight Club, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and Tim Miller created Deadpool, or directed Deadpool. And I honestly don't know what else he has done, so that is my bad. But it is some of the coolest animation, like CGI anthology series that Netflix has. Think of the Animatrix, but it's just sci-fi. Like, of course, Animatrix is already sci-fi, but this is sci-fi to the nth degree, and it is like adult oriented. I mean, it is, I wouldn't say it's edgy, but it is violent. There is some really awesome shorts that they do. I think the longest episode in all the series has been no more than 20 to 25 minutes tops. Usually they're about 10 to 15 minutes. But one of the animation, I think he helped do the animation for Into the Spider-Verse. He has done an episode on each one of the anthology series. The Witness is part of season 1. And I think that is my favorite of what he has done. Oh, and he also did the Watch Dogs Legion's kind of teaser trailer, if y'all remember that, seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
With that cool, like, punk-looking dude running through the streets while he's being chased by cops. That same director has done something with Love, Death, and Robots each season it's been out. But I highly recommend it. Again, the art is fantastic. The CGI is some of the best stuff I've seen. Did y'all ever watch Final Fantasy Spirits Within way back when?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? Okay. Well, John, do you remember how that looked like crazy good at that time?
Uh-huh.
That is what the CGI looks like, but for modern day, like modern era stuff. It is so cool. I recommend y'all see it. I think maybe total it was an hour and a half for me to just binge through all 10 episodes, but it is really good. And
what platform did you watch it on?
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original.
Okay.
Yeah. So highly recommend that. And otherwise, what else have I been doing? Really, that's about it. Not a whole lot. Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, and I have nothing else to look forward to until next week. So some fun stuff's happening.
Get the tattoo, and then you will satisfy that hunger. It's your only option left.
I do want, I still want that somewhere maybe here on my forearm. Jared or John, you know what I've been thinking of. Jared, did I ever tell you what I wanted tattoo-wise?
I can't remember.
So I want a Triceratops skull, a 3/4 turn, and I wanted to have that Day of the Dead type of art inside of it. So, I just let the entire internet know. So don't steal.
Hopefully,
my idea.
Yeah, don't steal it.
Don't steal it. I'm looking at you. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. But
the good thing is that idea hasn't changed.
It has not changed since the conception. I've maybe changed once, thought about doing like a different skull, but I think Triceratops skull is going to be like, it has such a large frilly whatchamacallit back here that I think is perfect for those type of designs. Oh, I remember. Last thing. So I have Apple TV. I think on Monday, there's a new show coming out on it. It's a special 3-day event, Prehistoric Planet. So think of...
I saw previews for that the other day. Right? Man, that looks awesome.
So, David Attenborough narrating like if you were watching Planet Earth or whatever, Blue Planet, all those nature documentaries with David Attenborough. He's doing one about dinosaurs, and I cannot wait to see it. So that is my last thing. I've taken too much time already. I'm so sorry.
We're not on a time limit. There's no buzzer. It's okay.
But yeah, that is what I'm up to and looking forward to.
What about you, John?
So as y'all can see, the studio / workspace has changed. We moved. I got a flat tire. My Xbox died. I almost passed out in the attic due to heat exhaustion.
John, my goodness.
So what you're saying is life since your birthday hasn't been good to you.
But, to our loyal cubers, we don't just deal with all things love of media, comics, video games, and movies. We're in the real world. We're one of you guys. We're not just these, T-list celebrities out there.
We're not elites. We're
There
not
is
the
no
elite.
highlight movement here.
Not yet, but until we get there, we're still DIYers. We're still getting into the mix and getting into everything we can. Not a whole lot of nerdy stuff going on over here, man. Just a lot of working, a lot of sweating, and still a lot of unpacking and organization to do.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We've been in this house 2 years, and there's still stuff in our second bedroom that is still in boxes. So
that gives me hope.
It happens.
You're good.
Yeah, I still have
Good.
posters I need to put up in the office as well. But
Home ownership is a never-ending duty. There's always going to be something, so don't worry about it. You'll have time.
you got to cut the grass every week. Don't do it like I did and do it every 1 month. And don't cut it too short too soon because you'll kill it. Because that happened to me.
Life lessons brought to you by JCub3d.
Yes.
This is a family show, folks.
This is
A
family.
family show.
So
We're like-
insightful, Jason. Thank
We're like
you.
the Fast and the Furious. We're family.
Family. Nothing's more important than family.
Oh,
We got to
boy.
steal those computers for family.
Family. Oh, goodness.
Take it away, Jared.
All right, my turn. So saw Doctor Strange a week ago. The night before that, I reread through the House of M comic, just because I felt something, right? So I wanted to be ready. I wanted to be ready just in case. So I reread the House of M comic line. I'd been talking about it over our past couple episodes, but I finally got to read the final part of The Last Ronin, the Ninja Turtles comic arc. I actually restarted it. Before I read the final issue, I restarted, and it's a 5-part series, so I restarted and read through all 5 parts, and I actually finished that one. Yesterday, it was it was a great storyline. The ending honestly got me a little choked up just because I have been a Ninja Turtle fan for my whole life. And the ending of that comic line, I'm very, very intrigued to see what direction they're going to go with. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to spoil it, but I definitely think that the comic line is worth reading if you're a Ninja Turtle fan, and I'm really excited to see what direction they decide to go with this. So I'm going to wait on that, and I'm going to wait and see where they go, and I'll probably try and keep up with those. Was there a question?
Not more of a statement. Are you excited for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pack that is coming out to consoles and I think PC here soon? Like an anniversary edition?
Yeah, it's going to have...
It's going to have a lot of stuff.
I don't exactly know which old games it's going to have, but it's going to have a lot of the old games. I'm very excited for it. I do know that it is all of the old school side scrollers, but it's going to include Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time, which came out on the Super Nintendo. That was probably my favorite game on the Super Nintendo. One of my favorite games of all time. I remember playing that so much when I was growing up. So I'm definitely going to jump on that as soon as it comes out. I'm incredibly excited for that pack.
I remember I had one for the Sega. I don't remember what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game it was, but I had one for the Sega. And then I used to go to arcade and do the side scrolling, the classic one that I can't remember the name of, but the newest one that I think is coming out after that kind of compilation set is going to be like a classic looking side scroller beat 'em up.
Yeah,
I am so excited. I love those type of games, and I'm excited to play something like that again.
Yes, they are coming out with the new one, which, like you said, it has the same old school kind of artistic style side scroller, but it is a brand new game, not one that has been released yet. So I've had my eye on all of those. I'm definitely going to jump on those whenever they do come out. On the topics of video games, I have been playing a little bit more. We had talked about this at the beginning of our podcast, but I've been playing a little bit more Pokemon Legends Arceus. I kind of got back on that. I've been playing through that for a while. I am enjoying that. It's a lot of fun. I've always loved all of the Pokemon games. The three of us and then Wes, I know we have our little text message conversation that we have going on, and Wes was texting us when he was watching our Batman episode. But I told you all this, but this kind of got me in the mood. I want to replay through the Batman Arkham games.
Ooh.
I do have all of them on PC.
Oh, heck
And
yeah.
I had played through them like as they came out, as they were released. I've played them in release order, but I think that I want to replay them and start chronologically, starting with Arkham Origins and then Arkham Asylum, and kind of going through it in a chronological sense. And then Gotham Knights is coming out later this year. I know there's been some criticism on that also. I'm personally excited about it because it looks like it has that same style to it as the Arkham games, but you can play as Nightwing or Red Hood or
Batgirl.
Robin. Yeah, Batgirl Robin. So I'm definitely excited for that game. So I hope I can kind of restart replaying the Arkham games and play through those up until a point where the Gotham Knights comes out.
Would you stream those? Because I would totally watch you stream them if you wanted to. But yeah, that's really cool. I've only beat Arkham Asylum, and I only beat it like maybe a year ago, first time.
If I was playing on my PC, yeah, I would stream them. I am going to pretty soon be getting the Steam Deck in, which I am incredibly excited about. Yeah,
really.
It's actually shout out to my wife. She's the best. I love her tremendously. We had both pre-ordered them back in July of last year, so at this point it's been almost 10 months. We pre-ordered them the same day, but for whatever reason her pre-order went through first, and she was able to get into a whole separate release date than I was. I'm a whole quarter behind her.
Whoa.
So mine isn't going to come out for like another couple of months, but since my birthday's coming up, she's going to let me have hers.
Aww.
And then she can have mine when it does ship. So she's the best. I'm excited for that. I can play all of my Steam, because I have an incredibly large Steam library. So now being able to play all of my, I do. I have so many games on Steam. Some games I've never even played before. It's honestly ridiculous. But now to be able to play most, if not all of my games handheld wherever I want.
That's
so I can be chilling on the couch with her, hanging out, but I can still be playing my computer games, and I'm not actually stuck to my desktop. So to answer your question, if I'm playing on my desktop, yes, I would totally be down to stream. If I'm playing on the Steam Deck, it's kind of a little bit of a different situation.
Oh, no, that's totally cool. Man, speaking of Steam, I'm like you, Jared. I have games that I've never touched, but I buy them. It's like, oh, well, I want to play this. It's like only $5. That's a pretty good deal.
They get you with the sales.
It's so stupid.
Sales, and then I buy these games that are on sales that I've never even played before, and I've had them for years.
They're just nice to have.
It is.
Like, here, have some money.
I'll probably play this eventually. So why not get it now? It is on sale. It's usually so and so, but it's only $10. I mean, that's a deal. It's more than a deal, but that's how Steam gets you.
Yeah, they do. But that was a lot of good. I think all of us were throwing in some good comic lines, TV shows to check out, things that some of us haven't watched, some of us haven't read. So I think that gives each of us some good recommendations, as well as our audience. If there's anything that we were talking about that you haven't seen or read, definitely it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
But now to get into the big juicy. All right. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Spoilers from here on out. Just FYI.
Yes, from here on out. So if you didn't listen to me earlier, and you're still
not gonna listen
here,
now.
Maybe you wanted to sit through our "What Are You Into" session. You wanted to get good ideas. I understand.
We all understand.
But at this point,
right there with
we're
you.
getting into the movie. It's spoilers time. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back.
We'll be right here waiting for you.
Yes.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
No, I mean our internet selves will be. Yeah, our internet selves will be waiting for you.
There you go.
let's not say anything and wait for them to come back. Give it a few seconds.
Hey, you're back. How did you like
guys.
the movie?
What's up?
I hope someone does that. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I hope someone pauses it and comes back right to this point. Like, oh, you guys really did wait. How great of y'all.
How thoughtful.
Jason, let's start with you. Right now, I want to get right into it. What are your thoughts of the movie?
So, general thoughts about the movie. I really enjoyed the movie itself. Doctor Strange, the first one. I guess Doctor Strange in general, he's an okay superhero for me. He's not like super, oh my God, it's Doctor Strange. He isn't like one of the top people on my list that I'm excited to see in a Marvel movie. But he's also not bottom tier. Like I could care less about his story, anything like that. He's just kind of middle tier for me, sadly. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think I enjoyed this movie a little bit more than just Doctor Strange himself. I think the visuals in this were fantastic. I do sort of miss the visuals that they created through Doctor Strange, kind of the more what is the word, that cubic kind of morphing deal that they had going on in that one. I do wish that was a little bit more relevant or prevalent here in this movie, but I really dug what they did with this. This didn't feel like a normal Marvel movie. It was directed by Sam Raimi. For y'all who don't know, Sam Raimi has done some he did the original Spider-Man trilogy, which is, the first two are pretty good. Third one was okay. But he also did some, he's known to be a horror director. So we're talking the Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. If y'all ever seen or saw Drag Me to Hell, he did that as well. Those are some really fun, zany horror movies. And I was getting that feel with this movie as well. It's like, I think I texted probably John and Wes after I saw the movie with my parents that this movie oozed Sam Raimi through and through. I will go into it, I'm sure, but there were some moments that were just so freaking cheesy. Just like I wasn't rolling my eyes, but I was like, oh, really? They did that? Or there was a music cue that was like, oh my God, really? That happened, but it was an enjoyable movie. I really liked where they went with it. I wish we saw some of the other worlds that what was America Chavez?
America.
Kind of when they were pushed through like the different universe, I wanted to see more of some of those other worlds. That is kind of my one real gripe is we got future New York and destroyed New York, or destroyed New York-ish city. I wanted to see some of those more colorful worlds that like the painted world. They had a one-liner joke about it. Was like, well, I want to kind of see that, or I wanted to see that animated world that they're in for a brief second, stuff like that. But otherwise, it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It went places I didn't think it would go. It was way more violent than I was thinking it would be. It really pushed that PG-13 rating, and it wasn't scary, but there were some jump scare moments that I haven't seen in a Marvel movie yet either. So overall, I give this a solid B+ for myself.
Nice. What about you, John?
Oh man. So I went opening day. Girlfriend got us tickets for my birthday, and great gift. It was awesome. So I was the first of the bunch, but our episode is actually delayed because I got heat stroke and wasn't able to attend our original scheduled date to make this episode. So I apologize for that.
No.
But,
oh, John.
Man, first off, I thought that they should have released this during Halloween because of how thrilling, scary, how we all saw it.
Yeah.
Man, dude, I was on the edge of my seat. I was into it. Doctor Strange isn't my favorite, but it's a Marvel movie, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gotta see it. Man, I'm getting so tongue-tied wanting to talk about it. I got the real feel of Scarlet Witch being a witch, not just some, just the title. I got the full feeling like, oh, this is the witch coming out to get us. She's after everybody now. You get to see her full rage. Oh, gosh. It was so cool. We get a peek at, like, maybe the starting of the Young Avengers. We'll see how that all unfolds into the future of the MCU. We got to see some classics. We got to say goodbye to some classics. Maybe we'll see them again. Man. And are we going to talk about the zombie scene?
I'm sure we will, because I had some... That was one of my... That was one of my... No way. Are they really doing this? And
I just loved it because, like, I was telling my brother this last night. So, you're in a movie. It's real world. It's not animated. There's some CGI, however you want to define that, whatever. And, we get to the undead, the zombie scene. And at first I was like, wow, they really went with this. But then I thought back to myself when this all kicked off way back when. I'm like, wait. This is a comic book movie. I signed up for this to watch comic book movies. And then, like, my vision changed from, like, real world until, like, opening this screen up into, like, a graphic novel. I'm like, yes, yes. It was so cool. I loved it. The after credit scene caught me off guard.
Which one?
But the final. Oh, no, not the final one, but the... Movie ends.
The mid-credit scene?
The midpoint, yeah. Sorry, I didn't know what the title is. Yeah.
I honestly don't remember what it was. We're going to have to refresh my memory on that.
With Clea, right? With her saying, like, hey, you started
Doctor
these
Strange.
Incursions. You ready to go with?
Oh, yeah. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, yeah.
I don't know who that was, but I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I had to look it up, and, later we'll kind of get into who some of your favorite characters were and where's the MCU going to go with this. But yeah, Clea, from what I was reading, she is the Sorcerer Supreme in some other universes, ends up the wife of Doctor Strange. She's sister to Dormammu or whatever.
Dormammu?
Yeah. She's the sister or the niece? I forget what the relation, but they are related.
They are related, so definitely a big introducing. They introduce a lot of characters in this movie, but I think that's a big introduction and definitely they're going to explore more into that in the future for sure.
I wonder if that will lead to Eternals 2. If they make a second Eternals movie. We have to talk about that movie one of these days too. Because I have some words about that movie.
I got some words.
Jared, what did you think? Or John, if you were still done, by the way, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just word vomiting at that point.
I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I definitely think that I went into it as blind as possible. I really, obviously, they're going to cover the multiverse. I didn't really know what direction they were going to go with it all, so going into it blind, there was a lot of surprises. I thought it was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely thriller-esque in some parts. Like I said earlier, the night before I went to go see it, I reread House of M, so it's kind of like I did enjoy there were like just little kind of teasers, Easter eggs, whatever you want to call it in there. Like when Doctor Strange went to go visit Wanda at first to try and enlist her help, and she was talking about her children, and Doctor Strange is like, you don't have children, you've never had children, that was just a creation. Professor X had told her the same thing in the comic line. He told her, you don't have children, you never did, you just created that in your head. And then when she went on to say, but what if I did? What if I was happy? What if we could all be happy? That really gave me those House of M vibes, where in the comic line, she created this universe to kind of give everybody what they really wanted. Like that whole brainwashing new reality, she was giving everybody their biggest wants. So I definitely felt like there was House of M tie-ins, which was really exciting for me to see. I really enjoyed some of the what if kind of
Yeah.
tie-ins and connections at all. Jason, I don't know if you ever watched all of What If.
I didn't watch all. I watched the one with Captain Brit.
Captain Carter.
Yeah, Captain Carter. I watched that one for sure. So that was really cool to see, and the fact that they got I forgot the
Haley.
Haley Atwell. Is that her name?
Haley Atwell.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that was so cool that they actually got her to reprise that role. But yeah, everyone else besides, and I assume we'll talk about Mr. Fantastic. Everyone else, I had no idea who they were.
But we all wondered.
But yeah, so I do remember seeing the Captain Carter, and that was like a really cool surprise.
Yeah, it was a great surprise. I loved seeing all the tie-ins. I believe John, you watched all of it. I know Wes and I would text on a weekly basis about What If. We both got really into it. But like the tentacle monster that was attacking America and Doctor Strange in the beginning when she
Was
got
that?
to that New York, that monster
No.
was in What If. We saw the zombies, both the Doctor Strange zombie, but then when Xavier was in her head and it looked like when the Wanda came out and whatever, like that looked like zombie-esque to me too. So there was the What If episode of Marvel Zombies. We saw the Captain Carter. We saw the Strange Supreme. So I thought it was really cool seeing these characters. And it makes sense because this is the multiverse, but seeing these characters that were in this What If show, what if this would have happened instead, and all those tie-ins to me, just all the tie-ins that they had, the little Easter eggs in this movie were really exciting, and it really made the movie for me.
Yeah, it was overall it was again. I think I'm the most negative person out of this, but again, that negativity isn't anything regarding the movie. It's just certain things that I wish I would have seen more of. But yeah, I agree with y'all. I'm excited to talk more about it and get y'all's thoughts on everything because it's hard for me not to just text the entire thread. It's like, oh my gosh, or something like that. But yeah.
And I think that negativity comes just because you are such a creative genius. John and I are not on that level, so
No, look at the
you
canvas behind
just see
John.
you just see
No.
the world in a different way.
I am no creative genius.
Well, let me ask you guys this: what are your thoughts on Wanda being the main antagonist, basically being evil, embodying that Scarlet Witch persona that John was talking about earlier from the immediate get-go? Because, like I said, and maybe you all are different, I went into it blind. I thought there was going to be some role there. I did not expect her to be like that from the first scene. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Yeah, and so I knew this was something that they were planning from the get-go, but with WandaVision, when that ended, like that was going to be a major kind of plot point for the next Doctor Strange movie. And not knowing exactly what that was, I had no idea when Doctor Strange first goes to visit Wanda. It's just a nice apple orchard field. And I was like, okay, cool. So she's back where she is. She's in isolation, and she's kind of healing after the trauma that she went through with everything that happened in WandaVision. And I actually didn't catch this while watching the movie, but when Doctor Strange is talking with Wanda and they're talking about this girl, and when Wanda says, "Oh yeah, just have America come over here," and Doctor Strange stops, it didn't initially click in my head.
As soon as I saw it, it clicked for me. As soon as she said it.
It didn't click for me, and then I realized, wait, why is Doctor Strange not moving anymore? And then Wanda says, "You didn't tell me her name." I was like, no. It's like, how did you know her name? I don't forget exactly what that that back and forth was, but having Wanda not only fool Doctor Strange and thinking what he's actually walking through is real, but then having that veil just disappear, and it's just desolation, just dead trees, and Wanda is Scarlet Witch. I was like, oh, dude. And it's hard because I really like Wanda. I think she was a fantastic character. I think what they did with WandaVision really cemented like the turmoil that she is going through. Not only, I guess, spoilers for WandaVision as well, but what she had to do to Vision, but the thought of, you know, that family that she lost as well is really messing with her head. And then finding that book and just, you know, at the end of WandaVision, seeing her meditating while kind of skimming through the book itself, was like, oh dang, maybe she's using it for good or something like that. But as soon as she says, I need her so I can leave, and it's like, I will do whatever it costs or whatever it takes to get back to my kids. And I was like, no, Wanda, I don't want you to be the bad guy. I like you. You're an Avenger. And I was hoping that the turn would happen way sooner than it really did. And to be 100% honest, I saw how it was going to end. I knew that scene at the end was going to eventually happen. But overall, I really was not expecting Wanda to be the main antagonist for this film. She is so scary. She is so much more powerful than I originally ever thought she would be. You know, granted, with WandaVision, she's taken over a town. Okay, it's a tiny town, not too bad, but going up to the entire Doctor Strange Academy, I don't forget what it's actually called, and just picking that one person, that one dude is like, no, I wanted him to be strong enough. And, you know, just seeing her come out from the back of his head and say, run. Right. And then just all hell breaks loose after that. Doing dirty to Benedict Wong, which is, we'll get into this later, but he is also one of my favorite characters in not only Doctor Strange, but I think in the MCU, because he's just Benedict Wong himself is just a fantastic actor, but I really like his character in this also. But yeah, man, just seeing the destruction that she can do really kind of is like, oh, dang, this is pretty intense. This isn't something that you want to, you know, you don't want to get on Wanda's bad side, because she'll screw up your head and she won't even care. Like, it's just an afterthought. But yeah, I think she was a fantastic baddie. It was very sad to see her go down that path, like saying, one person for me to see my kids, I will do whatever it takes. Like, that kind of, I guess, motherly love was pretty scary to see in this sense. And I don't know where this is going to go. I don't feel like she's dead. And I know we'll talk about that later, but I think she's too big of a character, too strong of a character to just go out like a chump like that.
Mm-hmm. We got into the multiverse. We dived into the multiverse. We saw a different version of Wanda. Like you said, I don't think she's gone. Maybe in one reality, but maybe she'll be brought back in another. And maybe Wong is assembling the Dark Avengers, the Young Avengers, and I don't know who's in charge of the actual Avengers anymore, but maybe Wong's playing a big card. He keeps popping up in these random scenes all over these different movies. It makes me wonder, what is he doing? What's he doing bouncing around all these different worlds and locations and everything? But back to your original question, Jared, man, I thought like maybe she was going to be a little conflicted. I didn't think she was going to be like one of the major baddies in the film. Like, I went into it blindly. I tried to ignore as much like as many of the previews as I could. But I was pleasantly surprised with what I got. Mm-hmm. Shock factor and all. Again, like especially like I think it's like the sewer scene when they're trying to evade her.
Oh,
like,
dude,
you really get a feeling the witch is coming after you. Yeah, exactly. I loved it. And again, I wish it was released during Halloween.
Yeah,
man. But
I forgot to mention. Oh, I'm sorry, Jared or John.
No, what's up?
I was gonna say the whole mirror scene in I'm gonna call it the Academy, dude. Yeah. That was so cool. Like having her just yank people down a puddle, and then just her kind of, it almost looked like stop motion how she kind of just ringed it out of that small
the
little
ring, right?
That was so cool.
that is when I knew, is like, she is full on. This isn't the Wanda that I really cared about in the show. And
It's that she's no longer Wanda. She is full on Scarlet Witch at this point.
But
there is a differentiation between the two.
Yeah, but that scene, oh dude, that was such a cool scene. And then just the weird body morphing, her, coming back to normal self. It was so cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no complaints. Again, I don't think she's gone. If she is fully gone, I'd be surprised. But yeah, I think she might pop up later.
And we'll dive into that. We'll dive into that a little bit later because I have multiple thoughts on all of that. So we'll talk about that specifically in a little bit.
Alrighty.
I agree with both of you all. I expected some sort of antagonist role. I didn't expect what we got as early as we got for as long as we got. I'm really glad that Jason brought up WandaVision because while WandaVision, I don't really personally see her as a villain. I see her as someone who is grieving and she has this power to make things right for her, which nobody really else has that sense of power. And she's just going through this, she was coping in WandaVision. But like Jason had said, at the end of WandaVision, I really do feel like she had come to her senses. And yes, at the end of the show, she was secluded. She had the Darkhold. She was studying it. She heard her kids' voices from somewhere in the multiverse. But I thought that she was in a much better place than where we saw her immediately in this movie. And the only thing that I can really think of, to me, is how every time someone brought up the Darkhold and utilizing the Darkhold and the power of the Darkhold, they just spoke about how much it corrupts the user. And I think that if anything, that really shows true, because I thought WandaVision ended with her in a much better place.
In a good note.
Yeah. But if the Darkhold is as corrupting as they say, then it does, looking back on it all, it really does make sense that if all she's been doing is reading and studying and learning from this book, it does make sense that she would be where we saw her at. We didn't see that progression, but I think it's safe to kind of assume that just from all the talks that everybody says, how corrupting of a power the Darkhold is.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was just like, wow. Like Jason was saying, when she said, "Why don't you bring America here?" I immediately knew. But then when she just kind of dropped the illusion and everything was just death and desolation around here, I was like, oh boy, we're about to get into it.
Dude, and she went hard like immediately too. Like, I'm coming
from the get-go.
I'm coming tonight. If you won't like me when I'm angry, type of, threat to Doctor Strange, to Steven. And when she shows up, like just that big ol' fog, coming through, and she's just kind of slowly, you can kind of see her red eyes just a little bit through the fog. And then she comes up. It's like, dude, she wasn't messing around. And she was, it was, I don't like rooting. I don't like seeing characters I like become the bad guys, or someone that we've been through, or video game, movie, whatever, someone that we've seen go through a whole bunch and come out okay at the end of one thing, and then turns out they're just falling deeper into it. I don't like seeing characters I enjoy go through that. I empathize with them too much from a previous thing. It's like, no, you're better than this. Just think through it. Like, and again, we'll get to it. There's a scene where we see Wanda herself, like, help me. And it's like, she's just trapped. Someone needs to, break that hold, but it didn't happen. And that, man, they did him dirty. I'm just going to say that. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. But, but yeah.
No, I agree with what you're saying. You kind of, when you really, as with all of us, we've read these comics. We
We've been with
grow
these
to fall in
characters so
love with these
long.
characters. Exactly. And her first introduction in the MCU, Age of Ultron, she starts off fighting the Avengers, but they go to the Avengers side. We see this growth in her, and we continue to see this growth in her. And even after everything with Infinity War and everything, she dips. But then we see that redemption again at the end of Age of Ultron, or at the end of WandaVision. But then again, she goes back down. Like, she has this whole character arc to her that you haven't really seen that with
Yeah, any of the other characters.
Maybe Clint with his whole Ronin phase. But other than that, not a lot of them go off the deep end.
Well, let's think
And it
about
sucks to see that.
let's think about it from another perspective. Marvel's owned by Disney now. Maybe it's like an Anakin kind of arc, like maybe she'll come back in like a bodysuit with like, a breather and everything.
Like,
Which won't happen.
With her witch powers, she can use similar to the Force, yes.
But yeah, no, it's sad to see a little bit.
Hey, maybe she'll be back.
I agree.
We shall see.
We're going to keep getting there. Hold on, John. Hold on.
Okay.
Look, this movie, it brought in a lot of characters, whether permanent or cameo or whatever. We saw the introduction of America Chavez. We had the Illuminati. We had zombies.
Zombie Strange.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character or favorite characters? New introductions, whether you think they're going to be back or not, that this movie introduced.
That this introduced, I really, really like America Chavez. I don't know who she is going to be in the grand scheme of the MCU, but she had a really cool, interesting power, be able to, jump to different times whenever she was scared, or towards the end, whenever she needed to. So I really liked her as an introduction. Again, Benedict Wong, I know he's not old or he's not new, but having him as a sorcerer supreme and just having that, the banter between Doctor Strange and Wong again it's such a refreshing thing. I love their chemistry they have as a duo. And, just seeing Wong in more things is something that I always enjoy, like Shang-Chi, just the tiny cameos he has here and there, and other. I guess he doesn't really have a lot of cameos besides Shang-Chi. I haven't seen him in a lot of other MCU stuff that's not primarily, the ensemble cast. So
I think, and I could be mistaken on this, I think that he's gonna play at least a small role in the She-Hulk one.
Oh, really?
Him and Abomination.
I did see
Abomination
in the trailer.
And I feel like, I think that he's going to be there as well. I could be wrong on that, so nobody quote me.
So those were that was really cool. And again, I'm going to spoil this for everyone else. You've been warned 3 times now. John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
Completely out of left field, right? Like, when he shows up, I just had the biggest smile on my face. Like, no way. I think that was more exciting for me than seeing Dr. Xavier roll on up. And, and even though I think we talked about this in the the trailer for Doctor Strange
couple weeks ago, yeah.
Whenever, but we kind of figured they're thinking that Professor X is going to be in MC or in Doctor Strange, and it is going to be what's this? Who's the actor? Oh, I'm forgetting his name.
For who?
For Xavier?
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart.
And that they're getting old school Patrick Stewart from the original X-Men films to be in this as well. So that was cool seeing him roll up. I guess I never really watched the X-Men series, but apparently his getup was from the original X-Men cartoon series, and they had the original X-Men kind of like
The
tune as
music
well.
in the yellow wheelchair.
Yeah,
Yes.
so-
Yes.
And the music.
The
So-
music when he rolled up to yes.
I heard the music, and I've seen that comic version of Professor X, but that, although still really cool, John Krasinski, was the highlight for me, and just having a Reed Richards in this universe. Though, can we talk about the violence at this point, or can we talk about how he was all? So I don't know anything about the Illuminati or whatever that kind of group was. I think after I saw it, I texted John and Wes about it, and they said, "Is this going to be like the start of Secret Wars?" Which I don't know that storyline myself, but I assume that has. I don't know, where those highways intersect, but.
And that's what I was going to ask at the very end.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to cut you off.
Okay,
My
cool.
thought with this incursions talk, and is it setting up some sort of Secret Wars comic line? But yes.
Okay, cool. So I won't talk about that.
We're kind of in line with that, yeah.
Cool. But I will say, man, seeing Wanda kill all of them, like the Illuminati.
In one sitting.
In one go. Dude, I have never seen a more graphic death in a PG-13 movie than when Mr. Mouthman blows the back of his head.
Yes.
That was
nuts.
That was so gross. Like, you just see like a slump kind of do this and him just kind of go down. That was so gnarly.
I was like, can they show that?
I mean, they did, but that was such a gnarly, like, graphic but not graphic death. And then seeing John Krasinski just turn into a bunch of noodle-armed and head pop, I was like, oh wow, they're really going for it here. But yeah, I will say that.
Dude,
what about you, John? What were some of your favorite characters you saw in this movie? Because there was a lot.
So, just like Jason said, when John Krasinski showed up as the smartest man, Reed Richards, like, for years we were all speculating,
people have been fan casting this forever on the internet.
Yeah, and the fact that we were right, like, again, I was like, just like Jason, I was smiling from ear to ear. And then when I heard, we should tell him the truth, and then I heard like that, I'm like, I was like, not only did they have the music, which, if anyone didn't know, Joe Perry from the band Aerosmith, helped with that and the Spider-Man animated series intro.
I did not know that, and I love Aerosmith. One of my favorite bands of all time.
But
first show I ever saw.
Oh, when that music came on, and then you see that shiny cart, and then the shiny bald head, I'm like, oh yes, this is it. The X-Men are coming in. Probably the two favorites that showed up on screen were right there and then. And God, I really want to trail off on this, but I don't know if I'm going to interrupt your flow of everything. Like, I just can't wait for the universe to come in and everybody to exact vengeance. Like, I can't wait who they cast for Wolverine to come back. I don't know which Cyclops they're going to bring back to, like, hold back Wolverine, who's going to get probably just, plumbered anyway. Yeah. Okay. Reed Richards and Professor Xavier. Like, that's when my total fanboy came out. And, like, I was jumping out of my seat. I embarrassed my girlfriend. Yeah.
I get it. I'm there with you, because for me, I thought the whole just Illuminati as a whole was so exciting to see. I really was excited. I thought the Haley Atwell, Captain Carter thing was fantastic. I thought it was really cool seeing the whole Captain Marvel, if Maria Lambeau had gotten the powers instead of Carol Danvers.
That is that's one of Vision's person's.
It's that girl's mom.
Right?
Because she was best friends with Brie Larson's character, Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
And that was the mom that passed away from cancer during the blip. But that was her, and that was the whole kind of, if she had gotten those powers instead of Carol Danvers type thing. So I thought it was really cool to see that. Mordo, he's always kind of an interesting character to see. But in my top three, at number 3, just because I was already expecting it, as we discussed, but it was still exciting, was to see Patrick Stewart, Professor X.
Yeah.
Rolling up, as we've said multiple times, the music, the yellow wheelchair, it was great.
Number two.
I freaked out a little bit when I wasn't expecting Black Bolt, honestly.
Yeah.
And I did not really know a whole lot of about Black Bolt up until like probably a year-ish, a little bit more ago.
I have no
And it's
idea.
honestly because I play this mobile game called Marvel Strike Force.
Is it
I
good?
play it like don't. I spend way more time on my phone than I should because of that game. I didn't know this, but Wes also plays, and we had both been playing for forever. Going on a tangent here, and he saw me actually like a post on their Facebook page, and he's like, "What the fuck? You play this?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, I've been playing for forever." And I ended up getting him into my alliance, and we play together, and it's great, whatever. But Black Bolt is one of the legendary characters in that game. He's one of the most powerful characters, so that's how I got to know who he was.
Oh.
I was so excited to see Black Bolt in the Illuminati. I freaked out, and I didn't actually watch the show, but they had done an Inhuman show a couple years ago. I don't even know what network it was on, but the actor who played Black Bolt in that TV show was the same actor that played this in the movie. So I thought that was pretty cool that they brought him back to play Black Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
And then number one, like the both of you, seeing John Krasinski as Reed Richards, I lost my shit. I did. I absolutely lost it. That was one of the greatest character introductions I've ever seen in my life.
I remember the first comic my dad gave to me and my brother was a Fantastic Four comic. So a long time ago, and I think that is one of his more a series that he really likes. And so knowing that we're getting a version of Fantastic Four down the road is so exciting. I hope John Krasinski is going to be in that Fantastic Four movie, because looking at all the stuff, everyone, like all the Doctor Strange, all the characters are them. They're not different versions of them. So Doctor Strange is Benedict Cumberbatch in these other universes. Wanda or Elizabeth Olsen is Wanda in all these other universes. So I hope that they stick with that moving forward. And, you know, MCU is pretty good with the continuity and stuff. But I hope John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, and all these other multiverses. And we are going to get a John Krasinski, you know, yes, knock on wood, Fantastic Four with him as being the leader.
And this actually, thank you for saying that, because this brings me up to my next question. Out of all these characters that we saw, which do you think that we'll see again? Which do you hope that we'll see again? And I really like what you just said, Jason, because the continuity, because like I said, the actor that played Black Bolt was the actor that played Black Bolt in the TV show, which isn't even, to my knowledge, really tied to the MCU. I think it was his own standalone thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they brought him back for that, but I think it does show this sense of continuity, and, you know, fingers crossed on him coming back as Reed Richards. But who do you think we'll see again? Who do you hope that we'll see again?
I think we're going to see. We are definitely, you know, this is America Chavez. She's playing a much bigger role in the MCU. I mean, that actress is set for life now. Like this movie and whatever contract she signed for additional movies down the road, she is set for life herself financially. But character-wise, I do think America Chavez is going to play a much bigger role in the overarching MCU because of her powers, because she has the capability of going to a different universe whenever she needs to. I think because of that, we are going to get a lot of characters that might have already been, I guess because the multiverse is now opening itself up to interpretation with the studio itself, I think eventually we are going to get Loki back, a different version of Loki. I think the Loki series, spoiler for Loki, was a whole reason for this multiverse kind of thing happening. So we are getting a version of Loki. We are going to get a version, and this is me just kind of fanboying it. I think we're going to see Iron Man sometime in the future again. I think we're going to get Robert Downey Jr. back in some shape or form for a previous. I also believe that, well, of course, Benedict Wong. I mean, he had something to do with Shang-Chi at the very end of that. So we have to figure out what's going on with that and where that timeline intersects with everything with WandaVision and, Multiverse of Madness. So we're kind of figuring out where that all kind of plays into each other. I do think, because we didn't really get any other kind of baddies other than Wanda herself, right? And I don't think zombie Doctor Strange is going to come back, but I would really like to see him come back in some way. I don't know. That's not possible because he had to go through the dark. Oh, no. We're going to get evil Doctor Strange. I think he's going to be... Wait, no, he died too. He died in
You might get some inner conflict.
He died in a really weird music fight that I rolled... This was the scene I was talking about. I rolled my eyes a little bit when it was nice, cool orchestral music versus evil orchestral music. I don't know why they chose music to symbolize their struggle with each other, but that was super out of nowhere. And then when we see...
Did you say it was strange?
It was so strange. It was like, really? They're doing this? I mean, it makes sense, I guess. I don't know.
Rock of Ages here now?
But yeah, I honestly, this kind of opens up such a wide array of things that could potentially happen now that it's hard to pinpoint, who I feel like is going to show up in a future Doctor Strange movie or something tied from this into another MCU project. Just going off of what I remember is the lineup. We're getting John Krasinski. I'm going to say, I think we're getting John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and Wanda's coming back in some way. She has to.
Good, strong answers. I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What do you think? Who are we going to see again that we saw in this movie? Maybe it was their untimely death in one multiverse and one universe, but maybe they make appearance in the Earth 616. Who do you think we're going to see?
Real quick, I'm going to ask you, are you going to ask who do you think is going to pop up from this as well? Because I don't want to answer your question with a whole nother onslaught of ideas that I have, which I'll probably do anyway.
Okay, let me put it this way. The characters that we saw in this movie, the cameos that we saw, not someone that we maybe think will pop up. The cameos that we saw, who do you think could come back again?
Oh, I ruined the question. I misinterpreted
the
question.
Your answer was solid, and I liked it.
Well, I think Reed has a good chance of coming back since he's, Mr. Spaghetti Arms to begin with. He was made in spaghetti. I don't remember if he was like liquefied and evaporated, but I mean, there's a chance he could still be like put back together and try to put things back together.
I mean, his head exploded, but it
did. That's right. Okay, it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, and I almost fried my brain in the attic. So the whole heat exhaustion.
We'll give it a pass this time.
Thank you. Mulligan. I don't think we're gonna see that universe as Captain Marvel again. And I have my own beef about how she went. Like, I thought like the way that she went was kind of. I don't think it was for certain. Like all she did was get crushed by that big statue, right?
Yes. And okay, so let me rephrase the question. Maybe we don't see that universe as Captain Marvel or that universe as Reed Richards, but do you think John Krasinski as Reed Richards has a real possibility of coming back, or do you think any of these characters, other variations, have the opportunity to come back?
I hope so. Do I know for sure? I don't.
Which ones are you hoping for?
I want Xavier back, man. I mean, the power that dude has. I mean, he could like in Wolverine, he was able to cause like worldwide. Well, through his seizures, he was able to cause worldwide panic and like everybody to like freeze up and lock up. Like the power that Xavier has is amazing, and I've always been a big fan. I hope we get him back. Hope we get back Reed Richards. Hope we get Wanda back to fight the next big baddies. I'll probably leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
I would like to see Professor X, but I would like to see a younger Professor X. I want to see a James McAvoy Professor X.
again.
Yeah, because he.
I was somebody else.
I mean, it's
The whole Sony and Marvel thing, you know.
yeah. Oh, isn't
no,
X-Men
that's Fox.
Doesn't
Yeah, that's
Disney
right.
own Fox?
Yeah, they do.
Or like there's some maybe the copyrights or something like that are still within a certain subsidiary of Fox or something like that. But if we see Professor X, although I really like Patrick Stewart and he did a phenomenal job with, the original 2 X-Men or the original 3 X-Men films, his cameos in the Days of Future Past for the newer X-Men series, I think they need to cast him as someone younger. Just because, actually, I don't really know why. I just feel like it needs to be a younger Professor X. I feel like that is a whole other topic or story, thing we can talk about. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm just firing off the hip at this moment. But they can't get rid of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine because he is the only Wolverine, and I don't know how they would recast that either. And I don't know. Don't mind me. I am just talking out of thin air at the moment. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No, I like it, and sometimes that's where our best thoughts come from. For me, I definitely want to see John Krasinski, Reed Richards again. And the fact that there is a Fantastic Four movie that has the green light, I'm really hoping it's him. I hope they don't change it up. I hope that was just an introduction of what we will see.
I hope so, man.
I would really like to see Black Bolt back again. As I said, they had already done an Inhuman show. I didn't watch that one, but it was the same actor. They're coming up with the Miss Marvel show. Miss Marvel is an Inhuman. Black Bolt is the king of Inhumans. So I feel like there's maybe a small window of chance that maybe we see that character again.
That's true.
Definitely think we're going to see mutants. I don't know which variation of Professor X we're going to see. And then I am curious because now we've seen 2 different versions of Mordo. We've seen him in the Universe 616, the universe that all of the characters that we know from, who has this vengeance against Doctor Strange. But then we saw this Universe 838, and he was just kind of left hanging. So now we have two Mordos who are alive. I feel like they're going to come back at some point. I don't know, but I'm just waiting to see what they do with Mordo.
Secret Wars.
I don't know. Did y'all find it funny that that fight between Mordo and Doctor Strange? It didn't feel like that was a very deep pit.
No, It wasn't at all. It was just a little drop.
Like, why does this
like a
group
10-foot drop
have a pit where they're supposed to have conversations? Like, that's a meeting room. Why is there a ditch, a moat in between them?
I'll take this one.
Oh, okay. Go
Dramatic
ahead.
effect. Dramatic effect. And for possibility of a future moat
Like,
with alligators.
Is
With
it
laser beams on their heads.
just this is going off just a random tangent, but Mordo is Sorcerer Supreme in this Earth, right? Couldn't he just like
Earth.
fly out of that pit himself? Like he just go woo, bunk.
Well, I thought in that room they weren't able to like their powers were, or when he had that like the handcuff on. I thought the powers that he had were limited.
Oh, right.
and he put it on him.
He put it
Strange
on him. I forgot. Yeah, he did. Okay, so there goes that. But I feel like he still could have just jumped out of it somehow.
All the parkour they do, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry. Small tangent.
No, that's okay. So we've kind of talked about a lot about our thoughts on the movie and which characters we enjoyed. What was your favorite scene from the movie? Scenes.
Ooh. Oh, Go ahead, John.
If you're
Okay.
ready, John, go for
Yeah.
it.
Done. No, man, I really loved how whenever they were explaining how the what's the new universe? It's
838, I think. I
Eight
think the universe that we know is 616, and the one that we saw was 838.
838. Okay. I really love the scene when they were talking about how their Doctor Strange died, and you get the visual of Thanos with his sword, trident, spear like on him, and he's like on a rock. They're on Titan, and they've got Doctor Strange on on his knees, ready to just go, and then Bolt just takes him out.
Mhm.
Like, dude, the visuals,
Evaporates him.
yeah, the depth between all that, like just the gravity behind that scene, just I thought it was awesome, man. That and whenever Zombie Strange's cloak went full like terror, almost like golems over it. I mean, that was awesome visuals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
For me, I really liked, and I mentioned this at the start of the conversation, when Doctor Strange and America Chavez are going through the different multiverses. Just, we're getting quick blips of, everything, all these other worlds. I really liked that visual. It was a really cool thing to view. I also really liked the Zombie Strange. And this is the second eye roll part. When Zombie Strange opens up his eyes and you just hear that guitar riff in the background, I was like, oh my gosh, really? That was so cheesy. That was so cheesy. I mean, I was there for it, but that was one part I was like, wow, this is kind of cheesy. And also like that, seeing the like ghost and that really weird black oozy kind of goopy look to him, that was really dope. I like the character designs they did for these for those, I guess, skeletons, and just the designs in general in this movie were top notch. My favorite scene, actually, I'm gonna do one. My least favorite scene was. What was? Ooh, this was a question I can't even answer myself.
Must be good.
Actually, I think it was going. My least favorite scene is when, and this is 616. Doctor Strange is talking with Rachel McAdams, and is like, "What happened to us?" Like, I hate where people try and right their wrongs when that other person has already moved on, and they're like, it's just an afterthought, and they're still trying to kind of not push themselves, but still try and make something work. I just don't like that in movies in general, and I hated that on her wedding day, Doctor Strange was like, yo, what happened to us? Like, bro, there's a time and place for that. This is not that time.
I didn't even think about that until right now.
Like, she's at her wedding reception, and it's like, what happened to us? It's like, no, you don't be. She just got married maybe an hour ago. You can't be saying that kind of stuff there. I
You
hate
just
it.
find him like leaned up against the wall, like what happened, baby?
Like,
What happened?
it's like,
Where did we go wrong?
Starts
I
raining
did-
on him.
I loved Rachel McAdams' clapback. Is like, it was never going to work out because you can't give anyone else the scalpel or whatever kind of. I really liked that, but I hated that scene. It's like, it was just a scene that didn't really need to be there, but that did bring have a really cool scene of Doctor Strange jumping off the balcony using his handkerchief cape, and then just going into town on that really cool monster. But yeah, so favorite scenes: multiverse scene, Doctor Zombie Strange, cool Zombie Strange cape. Least favorite scene: the wedding scene when Doctor Strange is trying to rekindle an old flame that clearly has moved on.
Yeah.
For me, it was the whole just kind of start to end of the Illuminati sequence, seeing the introductions, seeing Wanda just single-handedly take them down. Yeah, decimate them. Black Bolt, who, as we were talking about earlier, but Black Bolt, who at the mere whisper can destroy mountains. She just takes away his only power, and his head explodes, shredding shredding Reed, cutting Captain Carter in half. When Xavier had gone into her head and tried to kind of reach that Earth's Wanda, who was still in there somewhere, and you really kind of got like the flashbacks to Wanda's time living and growing up in Sokovia and all the just war desolation, but then that zombie-ish Wanda that just comes and snaps his neck. Just the whole Illuminati sequence was definitely my favorite part of the movie.
I forgot about that scene. I really liked how that scene was just a white kind of room, and then the rubble with Wanda, with real Wanda saying,
Wanda,
"Help me, get me out of here," and then just seeing that scarlet smoke coming up behind Professor X was a really cool visual.
And that makes me wonder, like, Xavier's, I don't know if he's the most powerful telepath, but I think he's, like, if not one of them, he's, like, the most powerful telepath. Did Wanda just, like, surpass him? Like, was it all an illusion? Was that really her, like, her true self in that dugout?
Ooh.
That's how I thought about it.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because, I mean, Wanda straight up snaps his neck.
Yeah, she came up on him and just...
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, to answer your first question, I don't know. Is it Xavier or is Emma Frost the most powerful telepath?
I'm not sure.
It's one of the two, right?
Yeah. And then there's Jean Grey, but I don't even know if she's in this universe. But then the Phoenix takes over her. I'm rambling.
Okay. But no, great scenes, all of us. There's just so many to pick from for this movie. There were so many great scenes, there really was.
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Maybe answer.
Cool. So, Doctor Strange, they're talking with America Chavez after their first round of battle with that tentacle monster. And I forgot the exact dialogue, but he mentions Spider-Man. Do you think he still knows who Peter Parker is, or did his mind get wiped as well?
Okay. I didn't know the best way to get into this question. And I was wanting to get into this as well, but let's get into this right now. Okay. Here is my thoughts on this, and I would really love to hear your thoughts because I asked you all this after I saw No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange wiped out everybody's knowledge of Peter Parker. He did not wipe out everybody's knowledge as of Spider-Man. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is. He's a hero, if you want to call him that. I know the Jameson's going to call him a menace. But I feel like everybody still knows that who Spider-Man is, which is shown furthermore in this movie. He mentioned Spider-Man. I think the spell that was cast at the end of No Way Home had everybody forget who Peter Parker was and forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Now, my biggest thought was, I feel like that spell was an Earth-only spell. At this time, there are multiple people, including Nick Fury, who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and Nick Fury is currently in outer space. So if that was an Earth-specific spell, Fury still knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Thoughts? Go.
And Captain Marvel. And Thor. And the Guardians.
The Guardians.
Now, do all of them, and that's another thing I'm wondering, do all of them know Peter Parker is Spider-Man, or do they just know Spider-Man? Fury knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but I don't know if all of those heroes know both sides of that coin.
I don't think Thor would, because he wasn't a part of Civil War in any real way. And the only meeting he had in Infinity War was Spider-Man. It wasn't Peter Parker. The Guardians would know.
The Guardians would know because right before the snap, he had his mask off.
He was
Mr.
he
Stark,
was with them.
so good.
But Thor wasn't.
Was with them.
Yeah, but Thor wasn't there either.
Exactly.
So, I think the Guardians, and if this is true, if this is where we're going from MCU from here, anyone that was on Earth, I don't think is going to remember Peter Parker as Spider-Man. I think Nick Fury Captain Marvel, and the Guardians will. But would Doctor Strange cast a spell that he himself would forget who that is, or would he know?
He said in Far From Home, "I'm going to cast the spell," and I don't remember his
Did he
exact
remember?
words, but
Did he
said,
say, "I'm
"Even
gonna
I'm going to
Okay.
forget who you are." He remembers Spider-Man. I don't think he remembers Peter Parker as Spider-Man, though.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So
Huh.
that would mean that he would have, and this is going off on a random tangent. So if he remembers Spider-Man, so he knows that Spider-Man has helped him a few different times already.
I would think so, yes.
So couldn't he?
I think he erased all knowledge of Peter Parker, but all knowledge of Spider-Man is still intact.
So I guess technically it wouldn't be hard for Peter Parker to reintroduce himself because and just take off the mask. But yeah, I do think that it only dealt with Earth because I didn't think about that. But yeah, Nick Fury wasn't on Earth.
Yeah.
At the end of, was it Infinity War? Or I don't remember where, or Captain Marvel. When did he leave Earth?
I don't remember what movie or what show was it where we thought it was Fury on Earth, but it was actually one of the Kree that was disguised as him, and Fury's really in outer space.
It was one of the TV shows, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it?
He's currently off world. Where
Wasn't
that
it
line from? Oh, I can't remember now.
Was it WandaVision? No. What show was it? Shoot. Because I remember that.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're watching this and you're like, it's this, you idiot, tell us.
Because, yeah, no.
Just grabbing the screen right now. It's this.
Oh, gosh. It's not Loki, because that had nothing to do with Earth. I didn't watch all of What If.
Well, in No Way Home, he is off world. Hold on. No, there was another one before that. I can't remember.
He is off world. I just don't remember where that information came from or what show or movie let us know that he isn't on Earth. Because the Krees pop up. No, it is at the end of WandaVision. Right?
I don't remember. We're going to have to look into this and
I don't remember. I'll make a note in the YouTube comments section or YouTube's description if I can find it. But yeah, so no, I do think Earth doesn't know Peter Parker as Spider-Man. They just know Spider-Man, but
I think it was an Earth specific skill.
I think
and there are still heroes that know that, and as they come back to Earth, whatever our big
next
reintroduction
meeting,
of everybody is, it's going to dive into that.
For sure. Oh, man. I can't wait to see what they come out with next.
Before we get into the future of MCU, though, I want to ask you, and we've kind of touched on this a couple of times, what are your thoughts on, is this the end of Wanda? Is this the end of the Scarlet Witch? Are we going to see this character again? What do you think? I don't feel like this is the end of Wanda or Scarlet Witch. We just watched a 2-hour movie of just how powerful she can actually be. I don't think a part of a tower is going to stop her. I think that was used as I don't remember, like is it the term red herring or MacGuffin, or I think it's a red herring. I think she wanted us to believe she was actually gone. Mm-hmm. I think that is the intent behind seeing that, seeing the tower collapse. She's not actually gone. She, as I mentioned, she wouldn't go out. From the character we saw in this movie, she wouldn't go out so easily. And I don't think she's going to come back. I think her mind is going to be fractured, because at the end of this movie, we see her throw Mom Wanda across the room and then scold her kids for caring about their actual mother. And I think that is really going to mess with their head. And I think we're going to get a fracturing, because that tower was the book incarnate, right? That is kind of, so
I think she is going to come back as Scarlet Witch, and I think it's going to be a really more of a struggle to get Wanda back, but I don't know.
What do you think, John?
If Xavier can swap his consciousness before getting evaporated into another body and come back as himself, I think Wanda can come back. I think maybe she was dream walking. She found a point somewhere in the multiverse to swap bodies and consciousnesses into another body.
With another Wanda, maybe?
With another Wanda. And I think she'll come back. If that's how it goes, I think I'd be happy with that. I could see that happening.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that. What if Wanda from the start wasn't 616 Wanda? What if she was already aware of dreamscaping? Because I think she even mentioned something about like, I know, or you don't want to see me when I'm angry type of situation. Ooh.
Could happen.
I didn't think of that. That is a good idea.
I've got multiple thoughts, and one of them does kind of go back to the whole dream walking type thing. First thought. This is not the end that we're going to see of Wanda in some way, shape, or form. As Jason mentioned, she's too powerful of an entity. I don't think she's going to go out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they're not going to introduce characters like White Vision and Agatha in the WandaVision series just to not have Wanda continue. There's gonna be some ties there. Those characters have to come back at some point, and their ties are to Wanda. So we're gonna see Wanda again.
Yeah.
I don't know which Wanda we're gonna see, or if we're going to see Wanda, multiple versions of Wanda, but I do think that this 616 version of Wanda turned into the Scarlet Witch, the Darkhold corrupted her, whatever. Maybe she's coming back from it. But she dreamwalked, and she possessed the mind of Wanda from Earth 838. And at the end, as Jason had mentioned, like, she got pushed into that universe, and you have the Scarlet Witch, and then you have Wanda 838, and she pushes her across the room. And maybe I missaw something, but I feel like that Earth's Wanda, her hands glowed red a little bit in that scene. And I am wondering if this dream walking maybe transferred some of her powers into this alternate universe's Wanda.
Could have been.
Because maybe I just was trying to see something that wasn't there, but I could have sworn there was a brief fraction of time where that Wanda, her hands started to glow red, which means now she has to have some sort of powers.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What are the powers of a witch limited to?
Yeah, I don't know.
Witches
maybe there was
crazy.
some sort of transference. Yes, witches be crazy.
I forgot about
Put it on a bumper sticker.
I forgot about White Vision too. But that's not.
I thought he was going to make a cameo.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking, yeah.
That would have been kind of cool but sad, because that White Vision is more. Well, he was very much. What is the word I'm trying to think of here?
Linear in thought.
Yeah, linear.
He was linear in thought until the other vision, the one that Wanda created, basically unlocked all of his memories, and that's when he flew off, because he had to basically kind of be like, his memories were unlocked and he remembered everything at this point. So now he's not this linear XYZ type of robotic function. He remembers everything that the original Vision did.
Well, then where did he go, Jared?
Because all of a sudden all of these memories were unlocked, and it was just too overwhelming. He had to go figure things out.
I forgot about.
But he's not.
Yeah.
He is not that linear. His memories got unlocked. He's got to come back at some point. He has to.
He'll come back as a Silver Surfer. He went to go talk to the Celestials. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That would be
I'm
cool.
hoping Fantastic Four does open up that door at some point.
I mean, he's already immortal.
I'm not gonna go into the Eternals, but that movie does kind of open up more of the celestial kind of side of the MCU as well.
Mm-hmm.
The one above all and everything, which I thought we got a glimpse into during the universal warping stage. Like you saw like this realm. It was kind of like bluish with like these big gigantic head totems like with glowing yellow eyes.
Is
Like
that
I
the
thought
living? I thought that was the living
Living
tribunal.
Tribunal?
Yes.
I thought so too, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to
think
pick somebody's mind.
I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
At first, I thought that it kind of looked like the head of Kang that they had in the at the end of the season 1 of Loki.
Mhm.
But after thinking more, I do think it is the Living Tribunal. I really do,
We'll see.
100%.
We'll
Man,
see.
So
It
this
was a
is
quick. It was, yeah, but I do.
this is slowly, after talking, this is slowly creeping up on my, more, like I said, it was a B plus at the very start of this. After all this conversations and like stuff I might have missed, and just me rethinking about it, this is a B plus plus now. So this is slowly moving up in real time from
It
the
opens
start
up
of this.
so many doors.
It really does.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what I was about to say. The amount of doors that this possibly could open, there's. I don't want to say it's limitless, but there's a lot.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so this brings me to my last question of the night, and we've kind of started to be teeter-tottering there.
Mhm.
With the conclusion of this movie, what do you think of the future of the MCU from here? Whether it be storylines or things that we already know or potential teams that may be starting to form, like what do you think this opens the door for?
So, where this is going to go with the MCU, that is a hard one because there's so much stuff that can. I don't really know where they're taking the MCU. Like with phase, this is phase 4, right?
Yes.
So with phase 3, we kind of had an idea of who, like we were always sprinkled in glimpses of who the baddie was, and the name here, or this is this is the main dude we're fighting. With this one, this is going into territory, and even with phase 3, I didn't know a lot about Guardians, Thanos, really a whole bunch of that stuff. But with this, because we're getting more outworld, or not outworld, more other worlds, more branching timelines, different universes, I honestly have no idea what the next step is in the MCU. Like, we're getting into characters I know just about nothing about, and I have no idea, honestly. I'm going in blind, and I'm super excited because they're gonna get weird with it. That's all I really know.
What are your thoughts, John?
Time is gonna rip open. I want Norman Osborn to relinquish or to live up to his past role as the Iron Patriot. I think Thanos is gonna come back as a good guy / helper to the Avengers.
Wasn't he?
I think
Wasn't he one of those in What If? Wasn't he Thanos a good guy in What If?
Yeah, and in some story arcs of the Avengers too, he comes back to help them. Oh man, I hope that every baddie that we know of is gonna team up with probably Galactus and take on like every good guy / Avenger out there. I just hope they go crazy with it. The crazier, the better with me. I just hope it's done tastefully.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I mean, they're already bringing. Is it Kang the God Killer in Thor: Love and Thunder? King the Conqueror.
King the Conqueror, but I forget the name of the.
I thought King was coming in Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of.
Quantumania?
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
But the God Killer, I forget his first name, but I think he's voiced by Christian Bale. I'm not too sure.
That is so dope.
Yeah,
and I read something that they said this might be one of the best villains that they've casted yet.
I cannot wait.
I'm excited. Here are my thoughts, and I have a lot of thoughts. Okay, first off, we touched on this earlier.
I got one more.
Give it to me.
There's a Secret Wars comic that my brother is in possession of, where Black Suit Spider-Man is like unveiled. I think that will probably be like one of like the key shots in like one of the new movies, just to like satisfy every fanboy comic book hoarder out there. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
That was one of the first things I would say. Some sort of Secret Wars story, comic line, storyline. I need to touch up more on those, but I know that has to deal with incursions, which is basically two universes colliding. We're starting to see the introduction of that, especially with the mid-credits finale, with the mid-credits scene with Clea being introduced with Doctor Strange. So I definitely think that is a real opportunity. John kind of touched on this earlier. I am really hoping that there is some sort of Young Avengers arc, and I started to think about all the Young Avengers that we have seen, or at the very least have been confirmed. We see America Chavez. We saw Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series. Kid Loki is a Young Avengers member. We saw him in Loki. Speed and Wiccan, Wanda's children, are Young Avengers. We have technically seen them, not in this universe, but we have seen them. Young Avengers member is Cassie Lang, which is Ant-Man's daughter who goes by the identity of Stature. We know that he has the daughter in the MCU. Elijah Bradley, who goes by Patriot. We saw him briefly in the Captain America, or the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. He was the old guy's, Isaiah Bradley's grandson. Mm-hmm. He's been confirmed in the MCU. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, they're coming out with a TV show with her. Riri Williams, Ironheart, they're coming out with a TV show of her, and she's supposed to appear in the Black Panther movie. And although he has never been confirmed in the MCU, Miles Morales, we know that Donald Glover played his uncle in the first Spider-Man movie. Ooh. You have a whole plethora of Young Avengers that are in the MCU right now. Bring them together. Let's do this.
You know, it'd be cool if they somehow created an Ultimates movie from this branching timeline as well.
They might.
I mean,
they just might.
Maybe Ultimates is they're taking the ultimate superhero from each multiverse instead of it just being like the ragtag group from the comics. But
and then this also made me look into more stuff, right? And I'm just kind of going out on a limb here. There's the new Avengers in the comics, who leader was Captain America. We know Steve Rogers is gone, but we have Sam as the new Captain America. There is Bucky Barnes as a member. Mm-hmm. There is Spider-Man as a member. There is Ronan as a member. There is Doctor Strange as a member. There's Miss Marvel as a member. We know all of them are going to be in the MCU. Wolverine's a member in the comics. I'm really hoping they bring it in. The Thing is a member in the comics. We know there's a Fantastic Four movie coming. And then Luke Strange, Iron Fist, and Daredevil are all members. Charlie Cox was in Spider-Man. They confirmed they are doing a new Daredevil series for Disney.
Really?
All of them could be brought into for the new Avengers.
Oh my God.
Bring all the old Defenders in. We have our new Avengers right there. They're already all in the universe.
And then that would be Galactus would be the main baddie because of reasons that I'm not going to get into, but
done.
And I didn't even touch on where does Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man and Wasp play into all of this. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we have to wait till
There's
Quantumania.
Just so much they can do. There's so many teams that they can start assembling here, and I am here for it.
I'm telling you, they're gonna get weird with it. This is Marvel experimenting. I think this is the first Marvel movie that they actually experimented with in the formula for what Marvel movies are. This is kind of breaking that mold. I think they're just going to get more interesting from here.
And I love it.
Yep.
Same. I'm so excited.
Oh. Heck yeah.
The options, the possibilities are limitless, and I really cannot wait to see what they do. We have seen some characters that have been around for a while. We have seen some key players that have been briefly introduced that they really have the opportunity to bring in strongly. I just can't wait to see what happens from here.
Maybe we already have a Miles Morales because the next Spider-Verse movie is only a part 1. So
that's true.
Yeah.
because that one's also going into different timelines. So maybe one of those timelines, Miles Morales, pops into a non-CG world, non-cartoon world. Oh,
What an intro that would be.
That would be so cool.
My God.
And that is how we get Miles Morales.
And Spider-Gwen.
Oh,
Very
Bring them
true.
all.
which is
Bring
also
the whole
Haley
Spider-Verse.
Steinfeld. So, I mean, she's already in the MCU.
Bring them all. Bring them all. Let's go.
That'd be really
Done.
cool.
I want to see everybody.
Yeah, no. That is a
Oh,
lot to
man.
think about.
Yeah. Lot to process, lot to think.
There is, and I guess only time will tell. It's a great time to be alive, though.
God.
Heck yeah, man.
Can y'all believe
Ooh.
it's been over 10 years for these movies? I can remember every single Marvel movie I've pretty much seen for majority of it, but I can't remember Spanish words, or I don't remember how to math, but I can remember seeing Iron Man for the first time blow up a tank and then Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions back in Corpus.
Yep.
God, it's over 10 years of Marvel movies and they're all interconnected in some. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
They're doing it, and they're doing it well.
We live in a good timeline for movies. Just normal world stuff, maybe not the best, but when it comes to Marvel movies, this is a good time.
We could have lived in any time in history, and we get to experience this right now.
At least when it
Thank
comes to
goodness.
Marvel movies, yes.
Yes, at least when it comes to Marvel
Kevin
movies.
Feige, I appreciate everything you have done to bring MCU into the forefront. Jon Favreau, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have the MCU as we do, and we wouldn't also have the Lion King remake that wasn't really needed. But, but yes. Wow, yeah.
Yes,
We don't talk
Kevin,
about that.
Kevin and John, whenever y'all watch this, thank you for everything y'all
Yes,
have done for the Marvel Universe. We
Multi-million
appreciate it.
dollar head honchos. You'll see this podcast of 60 views. It's like, damn.
When you watch us, not T-list celebrities.
Damn, they got a point.
But yes, that is that. Guys, I'm excited. I enjoyed this episode. Thank you two for really just getting into all of this with me.
Of course.
Thank you everybody that has been watching for sticking through this with us. We really appreciate all of y'all.
So, little teaser maybe, but little birdie has told us that a new, not to be said, but we're going to talk about it now, Star Wars show is coming out next week. So, just keep an eye out.
Yeah, so keep an eye out. We're going to try and maybe do weekly episodes on Obi-Wan on top of our normal episodes on everything else. You're gonna get a plethora of JCubed episodes over the coming 6 to 8 weeks. So I hope you all are ready for it.
Let the ranting begin.
If they
Go assemble!
if they do this, if
Assemble.
they do Star Wars good, I mean, I won't talk bad about Star Wars as much
For a while.
Yeah.
For a while. All right.
All right, but thanks again, everybody, for
Yes.
sticking through.
Thank
We
you
love
so
all.
much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you all enjoyed this episode.
Can't wait till next time.
Yep.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.